Print on demand has changed so much in just the last few years, which means that the way to actually grow this business and make money has changed a lot too. You can't approach this business the same way you could in 2015, 2020, or even sometimes just last year. Things evolve rapidly, and if you aren't willing to adapt and try new strategies, you're going to be left behind and you're not going to have success in this business. Now, I have been a print on demand seller full time for quite a few years, and in that time, I have really uncovered some things that are consistent, tried and true strategies, but also I've had to be really flexible with what I have done in my print on demand business to stay relevant, to keep growing this thing, and to actually make real money every single month. So in today's video, I'm going to talk all about the ways that print on demand has changed and how you need to implement some new strategies into your business so you can actually grow this year. Now, many of these things might be tips and strategies you've never even heard other people talking about, so I highly suggest sticking all the way to the end of the video because I have some really important ones that I'll talk about then. So let's not waste any more time and let's just jump right into this. Now, way back for print on demand sellers who got started in 2012, 2015, or really in the pre-2020 era, for many of them, they could rely on making very generic designs in generic niches. It wouldn't be uncommon for someone to make a brand new print on demand shop and just upload a bunch of different designs for t-shirts for things like best cat mom, funny dog t-shirts, dad fishing t-shirts, and the sales would just come rolling in as long as they were making enough products and they had good enough designs. But today, print on demand, it is a lot more saturated. Now, that does not mean that there is not still a ton of money to be made and a ton of room in the market. There certainly is, but you're going to have to go about it a little bit of a different way and sometimes put in a bit more effort in the initial stages. So no longer are you going to be able to just open a brand new shop and sell some really generic items. You have to get very hyper specific with the types of customers you are targeting. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to have only one very specific audience that you're selling all of your designs to. In fact, I typically don't even recommend that in today's print on demand day and age, but you really need to get hyper specific and think about how you can carve out a very small piece of this market and kind of take ownership of that whole thing. So instead of maybe doing a design for a funny cat shirt, something that maybe you could have sold 10 years ago, but today if you uploaded that, there's going to be thousands of other people. You could instead maybe get very specific with the type of cat. So maybe you want to target Persian cat owners or calico cat owners. And you could even take that one step further, getting even more specific. So you could do like a calico cat owner's design for St. Patrick's Day or a Persian cat owner who loves to play pickleball. So one of the cool things with print on demand is we have the power to make these very targeted, hyper specific niched items. Now, a store like Target or Walmart, they have to appeal to the wide population. So they can't really make these really unique designs that we are able to on a smaller platform. So this is going to be the way that you are going to be able to actually compete and stand out against a bunch of other people. Because instead of competing against thousands and thousands of other sellers, if you make something much more targeted, you're either one of the only ones or competing against more like 10 to 50 other sellers that might have similar products and ideas, which is much more manageable to actually get yourself to those top pages and start making sales. Now, there are other ways too to find really good niches that have way less competition, a lot less saturation, but definitely this kind of cross niching strategy is one of my favorites to use. I talk about it all the time. And in fact, I have an entire free guidebook and workshop for you guys that talks all about how to really find these hyper specific targeted niches instead of just going for generic things. So I highly suggest signing up for that down below. Like I said, it's totally free if you want to take that workshop. I'll send you all of the information to your email. But if you are getting really frustrated because you're making tons of designs and you're just not getting any sales, any traction, you might just be going way too generic, and that is not going to work with you in this changing print on demand climate. Now, one of the next ways that I have personally, right before my eyes, seen print on demand change so much in the last 2 years is the introduction of AI. Now, AI is a fabulous tool for sellers, and so we need to be willing to work with it in our business, but it has made the barrier of entry quite a bit lower for so many other sellers. In the past, you used to be able to really stand out by making unique graphics that nobody else had. So if you were willing to put in the time and do that, you could kind of guarantee that your items is going to sell a lot better than someone else who maybe didn't use any graphics or just had really generic kind of like clip art style ones. But now way more people with AI had the power to make really, really sellable graphics to put on t-shirts, mugs, stickers. So you can't just rely on making good designs to really break into those saturated niches anymore. So again, it's going to become really, really important to do your due diligence and research niches that have low competition but a lot of demand. And along with that, you don't need to be scared of AI. What will happen for the people that are really, really resistant to using any kind of AI powered tools in their business is they are slowly getting left behind. People that have introduced AI into their business, they're able to get more designs out. They're able to work on their SEO, titles, and descriptions way faster. They can come up with ideas in the snap of a finger. And so they are just able to make the process of designing and uploading and researching their items take way less time, so they can outpace the amount of uploads that other people are doing. Now, you don't have to rely on AI for everything, but you need to be familiar with using some tools that can help your business. So I definitely recommend knowing how to use some kind of AI image generator. Now, you don't have to use this every single time you make new designs, but I highly, highly suggest having one in your back pocket for some specific circumstances. Also, being able to have AI help you with things like titles, descriptions, SEO, that is really, really helpful as well. I highly suggest either playing around with something like ChatGPT or getting comfortable with the AI that maybe your manufacturing partner is introducing. So for many of you who use Printify to sell items on a place like Etsy, they have some really cool new AI tools that help you with your title, description, and tags. And I know a lot of people are really resistant to using those and they want to just do things the way they have before. But if we can kind of use these to supplement, that's really, really going to help us get more done and be eventually way more effective than we might have been if we just ignore these tools altogether. They're not going anywhere anytime soon, so you need to adapt and be able to welcome them into your business. Now, another huge change that I have personally witnessed in the print on demand industry in the last few years is kind of the separation of print on demand sites into two different categories. Now, on one hand, we have the print on demand sites that are so easy to get started. They hold your hand through everything. They pick out the types of products you're going to sell. They make it really, really easy to upload and get started. And typically they don't even take any money up front. So this first category of sites are things like Redbubble, TeePublic, Teespring, Zazzle. And then on the other hand, you have the sites that take a lot more work to set up, that you're going to have to integrate typically with a manufacturing partner, that you have to make a lot more choices. You have to do customer service. You have to make your own mock-up photos. So these sites take way, way more work. So a lot of times this is things like if you are selling on Etsy or Amazon Seller Central, those ones are going to require a way higher barrier of entry. Now, neither of these types of sites are wrong, but I personally think gone are the days where you can just start a brand new shop on a place like Teespring and you can make a full-time income. There are just so many people trying to do this, and a lot of times when people hear about print on demand and how much money you can make and how easy it is to get started, they want to take the shortest way possible. So they're just going to get on one of these easiest sites to use and try to upload as many designs as possible. And where I personally think that you are going to have the most success if you want to turn this into a full-time business is going with one of those platforms with a little bit of a higher barrier of entry. You're going to have less competition, and a lot of times those kind of sites are going to have way more organic traffic for you to actually make sales to. Now, when I first got started, I personally was a little bit intimidated by starting to sell on a platform like Etsy because of all of those things involved that I talked about. But once I finally did kind of dip my toes in and get started, I realized how much more money you could make on a site like this than just selling on a place like Redbubble. You would probably have to have like 10 or 20 times the amount of designs on Redbubble to make a comparable amount of money to what you can make selling print on demand items on a site like Etsy. So if you've been really hesitant, I definitely want to recommend getting started on one of those bigger platforms. Now, something that does definitely make the process way easier is integrating with a good manufacturer manufacturing partner. I use and I love Printify. They have hundreds of different white label products that you can integrate with your Etsy shop and sell on there. And they're really, really helpful with some of the things that trip me up. So like if there's ever a problem with one of the items or an order that came in, their customer service is going to really, really help you figure that out. And I was also worried about like kind of the timeline of getting things shipped out and making sure items are made quick enough. And they have a really, really good turnaround on pretty much anything. So I love and I always recommend Printify if you do want to sell on a place like Etsy. I'll have all their information linked down below, but you definitely want to have a good manufacturing partner that's going to help you with this process, not hinder you if you are trying to sell on one of these sites that typically take a little bit more work. But it is so, so worth it to do this because you could spend way less time, make way less designs, and make so much more profit than you're going to if you just rely on one of these sites like Redbubble or Zazzle or TeePublic, Teespring, etc. Now, one of the next big ways that print on demand has changed, you do not need to have a big following or a very niche specific store to have success in this business anymore. Years ago, a lot of times the recommendation was that you should have like one population or one niche that you are hyper targeting, and all of your designs, all of your items should be based around that one thing. Now, some people do still have success with this method, but what I have seen is that in the last few years, the new sellers that really, really grow and start to make a lot of sales typically have a really wide range of different niches that they are selling in their store. They have more of what I call a generic shop. So they're selling items to moms, they're selling items to pet owners, things about careers, things about people's hobbies, very specific things. And the reality is what a lot of people don't realize is when shoppers are coming to Amazon or Etsy, the majority of the time they are looking in the search bar for something specific like a funny nursing gift for a mom. And they're going to search that and they're just going to pull up a bunch of the results that come up and they're going to scroll through those for a few minutes, click on one that catches their eye, they're going to put it in their cart and they're going to check out. The majority of the time, they're never even going to look at your own store. So it doesn't matter if you have hundreds of other types of niches and items there, they're really only interacting with one product at a time. So don't feel like you need to get locked into something or before you get started, you really have to have the best solid idea of the one type of product you're going to sell. You can try out tons of different things. And in fact, you probably are going to have a lot faster success trying out a bunch of niches than just pigeonholing yourself into one thing in 2025. Now, one of the next ways that I have seen a huge change in the past few years is how reliable print-on-demand platforms are and how many new ones are popping up and disappearing all of the time. So I think in 2025, it is very, very risky to rely solely on just one platform. Now, I did just talk about how great selling on a place like Etsy is, and that is so true, but I think it's always a good idea to kind of diversify the different places you are selling, because what happens is a lot of times a print-on-demand platform that has been here forever will decide to make some big changes, and then all of a sudden their algorithm is different, or they don't allow you to sell things the same way, or they completely kick you off the platform. So one of the print-on-demand places that made some huge changes that had huge financial implications for people was when Teespring kind of rebranded to Spring and changed their whole emphasis of how their print-on-demand program worked. A lot of people were making almost full-time incomes there, and then overnight, like that profit was just completely either obliterated or cut in half. Now, something similar happened when all of a sudden overnight, Redbubble just decided that they were going to take a cut from everyone's sales no matter what. So if you had built up a bunch of income there and you were relying on it every single month, all of a sudden you could have a huge chunk of that redirected to somewhere else. So we do not own any of these print-on-demand platforms. So these sites, they can make changes anytime, and that can directly impact the amount of money we are making, the amount of sales we're getting, how many people see our items. So I think it's really, really wise to spread yourself out on multiple different print-on-demand sites. Definitely, if you can get on Etsy integrated with Printify, and then also be selling on a place like Amazon or Amazon merch, those are some really solid choices. And even though you shouldn't only rely for your whole income on some of these maybe easier to get started on sites, I think that if you have designs on Redbubble, on TeePublic, on Zazzle, available as well. That is just an extra kind of cushion if something happens on one of these bigger sites ever. Now, I certainly hope that it never does, but it's good to have income coming from multiple different sources in case that does ever happen. Now, this is especially true for all the brand new print-on-demand sites that are always popping up. It seems like every other month I'm hearing about a new platform that has come onto the market and that people are super excited because it's really easy to use. But a lot of times those new print-on-demand sites, they fizzle out pretty quickly and they're really not here to stay. So definitely do your due diligence about where you're selling, what manufacturing partners you're using, and just make sure it's reputable, but that you also have eggs in some other baskets in case something does happen. Now, I strongly believe that there is so much room in the print-on-demand space for new sellers, especially if you are willing to put in the research, put in the work, and make things that are unique that other people aren't doing. There is so much profit to be made. But definitely one of the biggest changes that has happened is you can't be lazy with this business. You can't just copy what other people are doing and expect to make tons of money. You actually have to put in the work and try to bring something to the market that not everybody else is doing. Those are the people that actually end up growing a business, getting sales every single month, and turning this full time, is the people that are willing to try something new, do their research, make unique designs, and consistently upload every single day to their shops. Now, again, if you feel like you want more guidance on how to actually find these really unique niches with not a ton of saturation, I highly suggest signing up for that free workshop I talked about down below. And along with that, I'm going to send you my guide with 40,000 different niche ideas that you can kind of work through and start adding those items to your shop right away. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.